Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm Sammy. I'm a solution engineer here at Front, and I'm excited to walk you through some AI-enabled workflows today. But first, I wanted to talk a little bit about this series and what to expect from it. Frontrunners is a virtual event designed to help you learn how to use more of our platform. You might know somebody at your office who's kind of savvy with certain tools, has maybe some hacks for getting things done, or maybe you're that person yourself. Likewise, here at Front, we have some hacks and best practices for how we use our own platform. And hopefully, this and future Frontrunner sessions can help you extract the most value out of Front. And so you can set the pace for how you're using it within your own company. I talk to people all the time as a solution engineer here at Front who are using Front in creative and innovative ways. And it's my job to help support them as they continue to leverage the power of Front to mold to their own business processes. And so really, I encourage you to ask questions today. And we'll leave this session. We'll send some follow-up information as well, and we'll have some time for Q&A at the end. But would really love to deliver value for you. This is for you all. And if you have ideas for future topics or if you have questions that are outstanding, we welcome those, and we really want to help make this a space where you can focus on leveraging Front even more for your organization. So yeah, with that, let's jump into things. Quick couple housekeeping notes. First of all, would love to Q&A with you. Like we said earlier, please use the Q&A feature at the bottom of the webinar, and we'll do our best to answer those questions. Probably at the end, just to make sure we can get through all of our content. And then if you want to review what we covered today, you'll be receiving a follow-up email within 24 hours with the recording, as well as some more resources for you as you are on your journey with Front. Front also hosts dedicated office hours, which is actually a really amazing thing that we do, where you can sit down with someone on our product education team and workshop your ideas more in a one-on-one setting. So we'll also link those in the email as well. And just as we get started, I'm curious to know a bit about everybody else on the line today. So I'm going to launch a poll, and just curious to know, what industry do you find yourselves in? I talk to people who are leveraging Front in all different kinds of industries, all different kinds of companies, big and small. And so it'd be great to hear from you all today. What kind of representation do we have on the line? All right, I can see those responses coming in. Thanks for the engagement. We're going to close it out and share some results. We've got a good mix of folks from all over. And again, I think as you are chatting with us today, think through too, how Front might be applicable in your own industry, right? We're not going to be able to cover every kind of use case today. But hopefully this gets the ball rolling on what's possible. So that said, I know most of you are familiar with Front, but for the newcomers in the room, welcome. Again, today we're going to be digging into how Front is the AI-powered customer service platform built for collaboration. We'll be jumping into those workflows in a second, but Front's been around for over 10 years now. We're really proud to support over 9,000 customers globally who work with us to enable better collaboration and better end customer results. So that said, let's jump into some of these workflows and see how people are leveraging AI within Front to deliver efficient customer support. We've got about 45 minutes today. Jump in here. And we're going to be covering a couple different topics. The first is AI answers. Second will be AI assist. Third will be AI tagging. And the fourth will show a brief preview of some smart QA features that are coming soon. We really think about AI in three main pillars here. The first is deflection. We'll touch on that with answers. The second is automation and assistance. We'll touch on that with AI assist. And the third is insights. How can we draw insights out of all the conversations that you're having out of Front and then power up your workflows as a result? We really think about AI here at Front as a tool that helps people get promoted and not replaced. And within Front, we've done a lot of work to think about how do we intelligently infuse AI, give you the control over where you deploy AI systems. So that way AI can handle what it's best at: data processing, recognizing patterns, applying logic, and deflecting simple inquiries. And it can also support your human team, deliver customer service and personalization at scale, making sure that everyone has an outstanding 5-star experience. Here in front, we've actually created new roles internally to focus specifically on AI optimization in the support function as well. So the first thing we'll touch on is AI answers today. And we'll be talking about how, with the power of front, we can help your customers become self-service experts. Oftentimes today, people want to be able to resolve issues on their own. And so within front, we give the ability to let AI generate answers for you for some of those simple inquiries. We'll touch on that in just a moment. We'll also see how the same functionality can be leveraged internally to help various team members contribute faster and ramp up to speed, more effectively. Whether they're a green employee who's coming on for the first time or a tenured person, we can help point them to the right resources quickly. So without further ado, let's jump into things. I'm going to take on the role of a customer here, and you can see that I'm on a company's website, and I'm interacting with Front Chat. Front Chat is a configurable experience, so we can craft this to look in a number of different ways. But we can see here that I'm greeted with a couple of different options. And maybe I'm having a login issue today. I can easily start a new chat, and I'm asked a question to respond to in natural language. Maybe I'm having trouble resetting my password. Pretty simple example here. But what we're going to do is, rather than have to route this to a person and have them manage these simple inquiries, within Front's AI answers, we can give Front access to knowledge, which it can then look through to provide an answer to the person writing in. And so like we're seeing here in natural language, we're able to provide a response to this customer writing in. We're also not seeing a hallucination. Front is going to cite its sources, better than us when we were all in high school and college, right? We can see the knowledge article that it's pulling from in order to provide this answer to the person writing in. So that's great, but let's maybe do a little bit more of a complex scenario. Maybe I'm writing in this time with a product question, and I want to know if Front maybe has a Notion integration, or our example company has a Notion integration. Same thing's going to happen, right? In the background, we're going to look for knowledge or sources where we could use to pull together an answer. But if we can't find an answer, this is really where we see Front shine in that AI and human collaboration, right? We can, if we don't find an answer, seamlessly hand this person off to an agent on the inside, manning a chat channel internally. And so we'll see here in just a second. We're thinking on it. We said we'll look for an answer, but if we can't find an answer, we'll pass this off to someone internally to have them go ahead and run point on the question at hand. So we can't find an answer. I'll go ahead and I'll capture some key contact information here. And again, the follow-on to an answer that can't be resolved is, again, something you can configure and assign within chat. Chat's a whole other can of worms, so we'll talk about that more later. But I can go ahead and submit my personal details, and I can see that this is going to be passed off to a member of the support team seamlessly. Switching gears here a little bit, if I jump into the view as a support rep in Front, I can see that in my assigned to me section, a new chat has automatically come through. We can talk more about routing and all the things that maybe you're used to with Front. In this case, since I'm the aligned agent here, I'm going to get this chat from Ron. I can see a brief summary of the interaction so far, and I can take action on this. In this case, I'm going to log a feature request for Ron. This is going to be leveraging our macros framework. Think about Excel. If there's a button you can click and a couple different actions you can take at once, that is our macros framework in Front. So I'm going to fill out some key pieces of information here. Let's say Notion integration. And then we need one of these ASAP. And when I hit submit, we're going to take a couple actions at once. We'll apply a tag to this conversation. We'll reply to Ron using a message template. We'll actually make a call out to Jira to add an item in Jira to get to work on building out this integration. So we can talk more about this in the future, but again, we've seen a seamless handoff here between AI and a human to deliver an expedient response to Ron. And we can even see that we've launched that action item off in Notion. So humans and AI working together to deliver an outstanding experience to our customer. If I pivot back over to what Ron sees, he sees this seamless transition to a human. We don't need to recap. We don't need to ask a ton of extra information. And we can keep on moving with Ron's day. So that's awesome. Now let's take a look at what it might look like for someone internally to leverage this same functionality. Let's say I get this email and I'm a new member onboarding onto our support team. This email is asking about, what kind of channels can we connect in front, as well as what analytics or reporting capabilities are possible within the platform. Similarly to what we experience from an end user perspective, a customer perspective, within front as an agent, I can jump into our knowledge base and I can ask my knowledge base questions just like a user leveraging our chat product can. So in this case, I'm going to ask what kind of channels can you connect to front? And we're going to again go ahead and look at the knowledge we have accessible, and we'll get a plain text answer back along with those cited sources. So I can jump exactly to what I need to help resolve this customer issue. Fun fact, this is actually something I used at front quite often when I was onboarding to learn more about the product and the platform. And as an onboarding employee, maybe I have some other questions too, right? This might be more of your internal HR docs, right? Or whatever knowledge you want to put in here, we can make accessible. Let's try another one. Who is the best SE to work with? A little cheeky here. We can see here that Sam is considered the best solution engineer. Interesting. So it goes to show at least the knowledge that we give front access to, it can query and then provide plain English answers for people who are looking for answers, whether that's from a customer perspective to help deflect and drive down the inbound volume that your teams are running into, or from an internal perspective to provide information about troubleshooting, as well as standard operating procedures like vacation days, or maybe who to ask for what types of questions. So that's our first pillar of front. Again, how can we use AI to help deflect common inquiries or answer simple questions, whether it's for an internal or external party? Moving into AI Assist, this is where we start to touch on what happens when we can't actually deflect that inquiry. How can we help team members gain context quickly, right? We can get the context we need in the clip notes on simple conversations in seconds. And we can see that we can actually leverage the knowledge that front has access to drive down reply times by almost 1.5 times, and reduce the mental load of creating a response from scratch. Let's jump back into front. We can continue on this journey together. I see I've got an issue here from Jack. And it seems like there's quite a long thread going on here. Maybe I'm taking over for someone on my team who's just rolled off the support queue. With AI Summarize, I can quickly jump in and get a bird's eye view of this entire conversation thread. I don't need to read through every single message. Instead, Front's AI Assist gives me this helpful summary that builds as the conversation continues to build. So I can see here that Jack is reporting an issue with the app loading. I can see that it's an emergency. Within Front, I can also see that there's several similar conversations about issues like this before. And this is where we start to get at Front's knowledge layer. Front is not only going to learn from knowledge articles and those static sources that you give it access to, but Front can take context from similar historical conversations as well to derive insights and help deliver on helping out your agents with drafts, suggested replies from the institutional knowledge that your team has curated by answering all of these sort of similar tickets before. And so we can see here, after I get caught up, I can actually continue to leverage AI Assist when it comes to drafting a reply. So from that knowledge layer, from similar conversations and from articles that we can look into to help with this certain inquiry, as an agent, I can see that I don't need to actually go and type in and look for an answer to the question. Front understands the context of what this person is writing in about, and it can actually suggest a reply with the context of those knowledge articles and historical conversations. Here at Front, we call that our knowledge layer. So I can go ahead and accept that reply. And this looks pretty good. It's built out. If I need to tweak it at all, right, I can continue to use AI to maybe make it a little bit more empathetic. Right, in this case, Jack's had a lot of back and forth with us. And so I can slightly change the tone there to make sure that I'm delivering some good empathy there and letting him know that we're working towards finding a solution. And I see some good questions coming in chat. Just a quick reminder, please move those over to Q&A so that way we can handle those all in one place at the end of the session. So this looks good to go. And I can actually send this out in front. When it comes to sending, I have a couple different options. In this case, we haven't quite resolved Jack's issue yet. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to send this as waiting. And just like that, I can keep moving through the backlog of our queue. Just another example of AI Assist here. It's fun. I was teeing actually up this draft for the internal question that we touched on earlier, where we looked up our knowledge base. Something that Front's doing is really smart is intuiting what's the question being asked in this message. So rather than putting the onus on the agent to go and search for the resolution of the response, Front's understanding the questions being asked in this message. It's looking across its knowledge layer of the articles and the similar conversations that it has access to. And so, earlier in this example, we looked things up in our knowledge base internally, but we can see that Front has actually already created a suggested draft for us as well, which has those links to knowledge articles as well. And so just behind the scenes, as I was preparing for this, I was like, oh, getting too many suggested drafts. I can't even demonstrate the internal knowledge base because I've got this big old suggested reply that's going to help me respond to these inquiries faster rather than having to go swivel chair search, even if it is in Front for some of those answers as well. So AI Assist really, really helpful in terms of helping agents level up in handling those complex inquiries, right? And drawing on your organization's knowledge of how we handled similar conversations like this before, as well as, what access to knowledge articles do we already have on this subject as well. So that's a little bit more about AI Assist. Again, we saw how it's really easy to get caught up on long, complex threads quickly with AI Summarize, right? We can drill into information about the given exchange. And then we saw how, again, AI Assist can tee up those drafts for us to help us reduce reply time because we don't have to start from scratch anymore. We can simply tweak or edit or modify those messages and then send them out to our customers in an efficient manner. That brings us to our third pillar, which is AI tagging. And this is part of our larger framework around insights. Right? AI tagging really helps us focus on what matters. AI will take care of the routing, notifications, assignments, other workflows by categorizing and triaging messages as they come into your inbox. And so what's great is within Front, right? Maybe some of you are using keyword tagging. AI tagging can be used in addition to that. It'll really help us, extend the intent of some of those keyword tags, making those rules more flexible. So we'll walk through a couple of use cases in a second, but really the applications for this reach far and wide. They could be, for example, retaining and expanding business, right? By understanding when is someone writing in about potentially adding more seats, exploring a different product line. Maybe someone's really upset with service they've received lately or their contract or what have you. It's really easy for us to create tags, train them on messages, and then tie these to the workflows that you're already leveraging in Front. So let's jump in here. And I can see I've already got a draft teed up for us to write into our support team. In this case, I'm going to be writing about maybe some single sign-on issues. I'm going to write, I have some issues with Okta and having trouble getting into my account. One of the ways we see people leveraging AI tags is to scan the bodies of message and create messages and create smart holding replies. So rather than just a, hey, we're working on it, we'll get back to you as we work to get someone assigned to this case. We can understand what is this person writing in about, and then we can create rules with templates to reply to certain types of inquiries with information that might help the person writing in resolve their own inquiry. There's a little bit of a modified deflection approach, but at the very least, it's a little bit more of a personalized touch point to help people know that we've received their message and we're working on it. We understand what they're writing into us about. So I'm going to send this message in, and then we'll actually switch gears and look behind the scenes at Front's rules engine to understand what's the rule that's going to execute in the background here. And then we'll be able to take a look at the reply together in just a moment. So I'll go ahead and I'll send this message in. And if we jump into our rule here, we can see that just like all rules in Front, we're following a powerful but simple when, if, then logic. So when a message is received, it's in our tier 1. if it has the SSO tag applied, and this is where the magic of AI tagging is going to come into play, then we're going to update the status, the ticket status to waiting on customer, and reply once leveraging our SSO template. Right, we can see here we've got our standard template. We're going to include some knowledge about how potentially to resolve this issue on your own, and hopes that our person reaching out is going to be able to take care of their own issue. So that's a little bit about how the rule works. Let's jump back into our inbox here. And I can see that I've got a response, just like we thought about with that template. Thanks for your reply. We're working on it. Here's our SSO troubleshooting guide, right? If I jump into that link, I can see info on how to do SSO. And I can know that someone is already working on helping me out with this specific inquiry type. So that's a little maybe teaser of how you might leverage AI tagging at your own organization. And really, again, the applications here are pretty limitless, right? How can we kick off key workflows with AI tagging in Front's rule engine to help you focus on what matters? This could be maybe escalating or moving certain inquiries to the right teams, right? Any type of workflow you can codify in Front, we can maybe kick off with that tag being applied to the message there. Let's jump a little more into how AI tagging works behind the scenes as well. Again, maybe there's some new people here for Front, but tags are a great way for us to categorize and label and organize and drive workflows around conversations. I'm going to jump into our AI tagging rule here on the back end that's helping facilitate all of this magic that we just saw. And really, it's not magic. Then we've got our when, if, then logic. When a message is received, if it's in this specific inbox that we're choosing to apply AI tags around, then we'll apply selected tags based on the description of the message sent. This secondary tab here of our rule is where we can define the various tags that we want to leverage AI to apply to our conversations. So just like you would be telling a new employee on your team how to apply a tag, our tags have descriptions, right? So in this case, messages related to sales, customers might be asking about churns, renewals, plan access, contracts, etc. Our AI is going to look at these descriptions and then scan message bodies to then see when we can potentially apply a tag that matches. It's really easy to stand up and train. Again, we're going to take a look at the inbox that you're giving AI tags visibility into. And I can see here, if I'm going to go ahead and try and train the sales tag, Front is going to surface messages that might be a good potential fit. And we can simply say yes or no as to whether or not that is a conversation that we want to apply this AI tag to. And so, in this case, someone's clearly asking about pricing and flexibility on a minimum number of seats. That's definitely a sales question. Someone wants to do an add-on, adding 50 more seats to their professional plan, mentioning a contractual rate. That's definitely something that's related to sales, and so on and so forth. And so this, again, puts you at the center of control for how you want to deploy AI in your organization, and then tie those, again, AI tags to specific workflows that your team has. I'm seeing some questions coming in. Thank you for those. Please keep them coming. Awesome. So again, what did we just see? We looked at how we could apply AI tags to better categorize and respond to messages, whether that's kicking off certain workflows, whether that's escalating, notifying, mentioning key team members. AI tags can, again, help us focus on what matters and accelerate our workflows within Front. Coming soon to you on DVD and video, if you will, is Smart QA, right? Really, what we see across the industry is CSAT it's a great metric, but it's also oftentimes a lagging one. And so support leaders that I talk to want an ability to score and understand the quality of the conversations that their support agents are having in near real time. And that's our intent with Front QA, an ability for you to take a look at all your conversations and draw from a library of metrics to create key scorecards to track what your business cares about most. And so there'll be a way for you to select, again, from a library of different metrics to build out these scorecards, and then, of course, roll these metrics up at a macro level to report off of the health of your team, to have those coaching conversations, to understand, how is our team doing in some respects with some certain topic areas, or maybe where do we need to drive improvement? Again, have those coaching conversations. So keep an eye out from us on more information about that. It's in a closed beta right now, but we'll keep you posted with more information coming soon. In addition to that, we've just talked about AI. I feel like there's that clip of AI, all morning. And so hopefully you're wondering, how do we actually benchmark the effectiveness of AI? How do we measure its performance? Again, based on where we see the market moving, it's likely at some point CSAT will be phased out and replaced with some blend of AI insights, right? As we saw in the demo, oftentimes, more often than not, there'll be a collaboration between AI agents working to deflect chats, handing them off to humans resolving issues, partnering with AI to resolve those issues. And so because we use AI in our workflows already, our head of support has developed the AI Experience Impact Score, or AXIS, to help us measure the efficiency and accuracy and seamlessness of human-AI collaboration. It's a really simple formula on the screen. Really, we're looking at 3 metrics: resolution accuracy, interaction effort, and handoff smoothness. And then you can weight those however your organization needs to develop a score for measuring how effective your AI systems are and the experience that you're delivering to your customers. Again, our head of support is awesome. He wrote a white paper on that. We'll include a link to that as well and some of the follow-up items. So definitely read up on that. But really exciting and interesting to think about how can we continue to monitor these systems, right, and ensure that we're delivering outstanding customer service to our customers, especially given the broad range, of expectations when it comes to interactions with AI. Awesome. That said, I know it was a flyby tour of AI answers, AI assistance, and AI tagging, as well as smart QA. But we'd love to just open things up to Q&A here. And let me jump into the Q&A section. Let's see what we can answer. Awesome. First question here is, are these AI features already part of core products, or are they additional modules? It's a good question. AI answers and chat are going to be priced on a resolution basis. So if AI is able to resolve that inquiry, there's going to be, I believe right now it's 70 cents per resolution. Things that aren't marked as resolved aren't currently going to be assessed. I'm also just an SE, so for more detailed pricing conversations, I would say definitely reach out to sales or your point of contact, whether that's your relationship manager or your account executive. So can we customize the tone for draft replies to be company specific, beyond professional, empathetic? That's a great question. I believe that's on our roadmap. And so, Emma, I can follow up with you. Awesome. Zane, 2 questions here. What's the model being used for this? We have a list of our sub-processors on our website, but we are leveraging OpenAI's API endpoint with some prompt engineering on our side. And I think, Zane, your question about the personality to reply to drafts, a little bit of this is baked into how that AI Compose within Front has been built, which is to take into context the context of the conversation that you're already having. But again, similar to Emma's point, let me take that one offline and work to follow up with you async on just the finer tuning of those generative responses to your specific company's voice. So, Ryan, you mentioned AI for drafting, looks at conversations it has access to. Does it have access to everything in an inbox, a workspace? That is a good question. Let me actually check really quick. I believe it's inbox by inbox that we give it access to. Let me take that one offline too, Ryan. What does implementation look like for setting up the Front knowledge base? Great question. Front knowledge base is really easy to set up. I can actually jump in here to the demo org to show you a bit behind the scenes. Awesome. So here I'm in my knowledge tab. So obviously you need to have the permissions to edit and maintain knowledge bases. But here you can see we can have a number of different knowledge bases here inside of front. These could be internal, these could be external, they could be password protected. Under different settings, right, we have control over localization. You can configure that site visibility. But as far as adding content to knowledge bases, it's pretty straightforward. You can jump into a folder here, right? We have different sections and subfolders. And I can simply start editing a knowledge base article there as well. And then in the spirit of AI, let's call this our vacation days policy. And say, write a KKK policy. And again, we can generate that draft there as well. So maybe a little bit of a teaser on knowledge bases and knowledge management. This is actually a topic that we've seen come up quite a lot. And that's something that we're exploring as a future topic of conversation for front runners. So if that's of interest too, please definitely follow up in the survey asking for more information, and that'll help us prioritize what topics to cover on future iterations of front runners. Awesome. Let me jump into these questions here. I understand it's currently a closed beta. However, if we would love to be in beta Smart QA beta. Awesome, thank you. I would say reach out to your relationship manager, and we can see if we're accepting new members. I don't know off the top of my head, but that would be the best way to do that. Andrew, great question. Will we be able to define our own Smart QA criteria to add to the library over time? Yes, that is on the roadmap for Smart QA. As it's in closed beta, there's obviously a lot that's subject to change, but that's part of the goal behind Smart QA is that pre-built library, but then also over time, the ability to add your own criteria as well. You bet. Let's see. Yes, so Emma, the draft replies showed you had a request for the customer to rate the interaction on 1 to 5. Can we customize drafts to not include those requests? Yes, that was the CSAT survey functionality in front. And that is something that you can configure in front settings as to whether or not you want to include that in messages you send out to your customers. And then awesome, Zaina, does front have an API where I can integrate with my models here? Currently, we don't have that approach, and I'm not sure that that's on our roadmap, but if you have more questions, definitely reach out. And I appreciate the questions you've had so far, so we can potentially chat more, but that is not something that is currently possible within front. Awesome. All righty. Wonderful. Got a couple minutes if there's any final questions. But I know that was a flyby tour, and I'm just a guy in a little Zoom box in a room. So I'm sure there's more questions. If they pop up, later in the day, please again leverage that survey. This is again a session that we really want to build to bring value for you. So if you have more questions, if you have ideas for future subjects that you want to dive into, we are listening, and we're eager to just partner with you on your journey to leverage front better for your organization. One final question from Emma. Yeah, we're leveraging OpenAI's API. And if you jump into our help docs, we can follow up maybe with some of this info as well. Our head of AI has done a great job of documenting so much on our help center. So there's a lot more that you can read about there, and we can follow up with that as well. But yeah, with that, thank you everyone so much. Thank you for the great questions. And again, for some of those ones that we weren't able to answer live, I'll do my best to search down those answers for you, and we can follow up. Please fill out that survey. I think my teammate has dropped it in the chat here as well. And again, just to kind of round things out, we have an amazing offering, which we call Office Hours, that you can join to continue to ask these questions live with someone from our product education team. I don't know of many other people doing this, and so it's a great way to get access to the front team. If you're new to front and want to learn more, there's a link to learn more about our product. And again, stay tuned for an email coming your way tomorrow with more information.